Yeah, some George Thorogood for you, and I'm bad to the bone because I am Ralph Williams, and I am bad to the bone, and we're here for Ralph's Opinion every single Wednesday night, 7:30. We're here till 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, we do The Way I See It. And I got to tell you, we have plenty to talk about tonight, a lot to talk about. Delta Airlines colliding with another jet at Atlanta and Hartsfield International Airport. The Jeffrey Epstein files. Here we go again. We're playing the blame game now. Okay. And next show, the way I see it, we're going to talk about the U.S. Steel explosion in Clairton, Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvania budget, which has become a serious problem here because people in Pittsburgh and SEPTA and Philadelphia are not going to have transit service as they know it. All right. That's coming up later on. The White Marlin Classic. That was down here in Ocean City. We'll talk about that for the way I see it and a lot more. Ralph's Opinion. We got a lot to talk about. The good, the bad, and the ugly of Trump again this week, and a whole lot more coming up right now. And also, I want to thank everyone for watching tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platforms, and also on the Kick Network. And we are also on Facebook Live. I'll be seeing if anyone's on Facebook, and we'll be calling if anyone's on there. I'll be letting everyone know who's all on the comment sections here, wide open as well, as always. All right, so your comments are welcome. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning is our studio sponsor here at Studio 10 in Berlin, Maryland, right outside of Ocean City, Maryland. That's 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today for all your heating and air conditioning needs. They also offer UV lighting, and in the wintertime, they offer snow melt. They'll also fix your furnace, get your furnaces ready. Summer's about to end. Fall's coming. Winter's coming. It's supposed to be a cold one, according to Farmer's Almanac. So we'll talk about that as well. All right, and then also we're sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty. Area code 410-596-1681. Mike Dotson Realty, Ocean City, Maryland. Give him a call today. Look, hotels down here are expensive. You need a short-term rental, or you want to rent a place, or if you for the summer, or on a monthly basis, or if you just want to buy a place and rent it out, whatever you want to do with real estate, call Mike today. Area code 410-596-1681. Mike Dotson Realty. All right, let's get to the comment section here real quick. Tiger Stripes Media. Good evening, Brian. Great to have you on the show as always. Brian is part of Tiger Stripes Media right here. Brian joins me on Saturdays on the Saturday Sports Show with myself and Leo Haggerty at 10 a.m., which I'll talk about later on as well. And please like and subscribe on his YouTube channel. He's also connected with the Sports Nuts as well. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe them as well. Follow them and Brian on Facebook and on YouTube, and also follow on the Twitter X as well, and also Pensman Sports. And how you doing, Pensman? Everything's great, thank you. What's up? Well, the inflation, that's and the gas prices and food prices and everything's up. You know that. I'm just saying as a joke. Pensman Sports as well. Check him out. Yankee fan. He loves the New York Yankees. Talks about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh sports as well. He and I do a lot of things together. We're going to be doing post game together for the Steelers and a whole lot more. So also you want to like and subscribe Pensman Sports as well. And also please don't forget to follow him as well on the Twitter X platform. And also follow him and on Facebook as well. All right, let's get started here with this with today's show. First of all, on behalf of RW Media Productions, okay, all right, I want to send my condolences. If you didn't watch yesterday's yesterday's Sports Corner and the Wrestle Talk show, And it just so happened that there was a explosion at the U.S. Steel Clairton Works in Clairton, Pennsylvania. All right. And what had happened was with that explosion, there was 10 injuries and 2 deaths. All right. I want to send my condolences on behalf of RW Media Productions. I want to send my condolences to the families of those who, for the 2 deceased workers. And I also want to send my prayers out, and please send some prayers out and help there's a GoFundMe page to help these steelworkers' families out, ones that are injured and the ones that have passed away as well. Go check that out as well. And I just found out today, it has been officially confirmed that on Saturday morning on the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno show here on 1250 AM The Answer, 92.5 FM, and 1250 AM The Answer, PGH.com, Tony and I will have Clairton Mayor Richard Lattanzi will join us. He will join us on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m., brighten up for the first 2 segments to talk about this, about the Clairton community, about the Nippon Steel deal. We have a lot to talk about with Mayor Richard Lattanzi of Clairton, Pennsylvania. Remember the deer hunter? That's Clairton. All right. So I just want to let you know, but that was Clairton back then. It's not Clairton now, but there's still good people there. Yeah, inflation is up, needs to go down. Yes, absolutely, says Pensman. And Tiger Stripes Media says he agrees. All right, thank you. All right, guys. All right, we're going to get started here with this with the show tonight. First, let's talk about another near fatal plane incident in Atlanta. A Delta Airlines, okay, a Delta Airlines almost collided with another jet. Now, my question to everybody here tonight: when is the FAA going to get their act together here? Okay, it's been since COVID that you had 5 years to fix it. I know you have a shortage of air traffic controllers. I know you have some big classes coming up now. Okay, you had to, I don't know, lay people off or whatever happened during COVID. All right, people retired. All right. It's just like any other job in this country because nobody wants to work. And here's another prime example of it. All right. Nobody wants to be an air traffic controller. Okay. Nobody wants to go to school. Nobody wants to put the effort into anything. All right. Nobody wants to do that. All right. And also, in the way I see it tonight, I forgot to tell you, I'm very disturbed about this GoFundMe page for a Pittsburgh restaurant that had illegal immigrants that got raided recently. When we have steel workers in Clairton that need it more than them. Okay? We're going to talk about that as well. I'm very disturbed by that as well. We'll talk about that on the way I see it. Okay? All right? So, again, we have not enough air traffic controllers. Look what happened to United and up in Newark, New Jersey. They had to cancel flights. There was a lot of things they had to do. Okay. All right. They don't have enough controllers. They don't have enough of anything. All right. Tiger Stripes Media, Brian Pettit says they will never get with it. No. Okay. All right. And then you sit there and you complain because President Trump fires people from the FAA because they're incompetent, not doing their job. Here we are again. Another near catastrophe at an airport because of a collision between a Delta Airlines and another jet at another airport. And they want to know why flying is down this year. They want to know why people are not flying. They want to know why people are not traveling this year. They want to know why. There's a lot of reasons to this. Southwest is now charging for extra bags. Spirit is going out of business. I just found out yesterday that Spirit said they have to go into the piggy bank to to pay their people if they don't get some kind of help. All right, which the merger with them and Frontier or them and JetBlue was turned away. Okay, all right. Do what you're doing to the drugstore industry when you turned away the merger between Walgreens, CVS, and/or Rite Aid. And I get it; it's a monopoly. I get that. All right, but if it'll save jobs and save business, why not? And save the economy. I'd rather drive to certain vacation spots than fly. A lot of these airports are terrible, says RXJ. Absolutely. Thank you, RXJ, as well for your comments. Pensman says, hi, RXJ. There you go. Hello, RXJ. Okay. My back's a little twisty tonight, but I'm here. All right. I didn't want to take any more time off. I'm trying to build up more airtime on YouTube. Okay. All right. So, okay. But it's just been one thing after another with the airline industry, and then everybody complains because the FAA is firing, or President Trump's firing people. Well, you're not doing your job. All right. Right now, if you don't do your job, Trump is going to fire you. If you are a federal worker, President Trump will fire you if you're not doing your job. You're not doing it the way he wants it done. Okay. All right. A lot of people won't fly. I can't fly because I'm handicapped. It's difficult for me to get on a small airplane. Okay. Difficult for me to walk into the seat. A lot of difficulty for me because every time I try to book a flight, last time I flew, I had to go down to Raleigh, North Carolina from Pittsburgh. It was a 50-minute flight, which of course I was glad I didn't have to be on there any longer than that. Okay. All right. Okay. So, here we are, another airline incident. And what happens? It's the same old with the FAA. It's terrible out there. It's really bad. And I'm talking about really bad. Yes, exactly. That's what. Okay. That is what is going on right now, is the FAA. Another almost incident. And it's bad enough that Newark had to take a beating. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it, Pensman. You are correct. That's why I don't fly either. All right. Why don't you give me a real ID? Why do I have to go out and do everything? You're the one that wants it. Why do I have to do it? Why do I have to go stand in line? Why do I have to fill out paperwork? Why don't you just put a stamp on it and say, here's a real ID? You have a driver's license, just come on in, I'll put a stamp on it. No, we got to have birth certificate, social security card, proof of address, that gets old after a while too. All right. You want me to do something, then why don't you help me out with it then? Okay. Customer service stinks. I've told you that many times on this program. 35 years in customer service. It's worse now than it's ever been. Okay. And it'll never change. Ever. In a long, long time. Okay. All right. There you go. Marriage certificate. It's stupid. Yes, it is. Very much is stupid. Okay. All right. Let's move on here. We got a lot to talk about, and we only got 15 minutes left in the show. Okay. Because I like to take a break in between. I have to be on at 9 o'clock, Steel City Sports World with Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano, Smoking Jim Frazier. And then later on at 10 o'clock, I'll be joining Jeremy Ballrick and the guys on the Kneecap Biting Network on the Football Roundtable. Okay. So if you want to tune into that, YouTube and Facebook. All right. ICE raids. Or here we go. Washington, D.C. I want to talk about this too, in the way I see it. We got a lot to talk about there too. I'm glad that President Trump is doing what he needs to do, and he's going to do it in some other cities as well. And I have recommended to him, I reached out to his office, that he do it in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh needs it. They need the National Guard there. I've said this so many times. In the current state of their affairs up in Pittsburgh, PA, they need the National Guard there to clean up the crime, the homelessness, clean up the city. You're hosting a draft next year, and you don't even have your crap together yet. Okay? Talk about that on the way I see it. But I am happy. I'll just say right now here, and that's Ralph's opinion tonight, that I'm happy that he's doing that. It's about time somebody do that. That needs to be done. There's cities around here that are totally out of control. Washington, D.C. is one of them. And when you have diplomats walking down the street, getting accosted, getting shot at, getting whatever is happening, and they can't walk with their families to go back home or whatever it is that they're doing. That's ridiculous. It's terrible. All right. That shouldn't even be going on. I mean, but as usual, we can't protect anything anymore. Okay. Safety's not an issue with progressives. They don't like safety. They don't care about police. They don't care about emergency responders. They don't care about none of that stuff. Tony and I will talk about that Saturday morning on our radio show. All right, next, the Epstein files. Listen, I've said this 1,000 times over, and twice last week. I don't want to hear no more about the Epstein files. That man killed himself in 2019. He's dead. Leave it go. I don't care if President Clinton was involved. The man killed himself. It's over. It's finished. Okay, I don't want to hear no more stories. I don't want to hear no more. It was Clinton's fault. It's Obama's fault. It's the janitor at the White House's fault. It's somebody else's fault. I don't want to hear it. I don't care whose fault it is. All right, I'm concerned about the safety of our country. I'm concerned about our Russia. I'm concerned about Ukraine. I'm concerned about Israel. I'm concerned about the Middle East. I'm concerned about Iran. I'm concerned about our economy. I'm concerned about our food prices going up. I'm concerned about the tariffs. That's what you should be concerned about. But you're not. But that's what I'm concerned about. I could care less about the Epstein files. I really could. It's water over the bridge. The man killed himself. Goodbye, toodaloo, whatever, wherever you are. I don't care. Just leave it go. Stop playing the blame game, pointing fingers at Trump, pointing fingers at this person and that person, and saying this. Brian Gladish is watching on Facebook. Thank you, Brian. From Jeanette, PA. Okay? All right? It's ridiculous. The Epstein files. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I know the guy was what do you do? Traffic young women or do something with women who run prostitution? But that's old news. In 2019, he killed himself. Okay? Oh, now you want to prosecute Barack Obama. You want to prosecute Bill or Hillary Clinton. You want to prosecute Joe Biden. You want to prosecute Donald Trump. You want to prosecute everybody because you're looking to prosecute somebody because you couldn't prosecute Epstein because he killed himself. Okay? All right? So now you're reaching in for a needle in a haystack. All right? Stop it. It's over. It's done. I don't want to hear about it no more, about the Epstein files. Leave it go. All right? Yeah, leave the Epstein files alone. Bury it back where it was before. Okay? All right. Now we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Donald Trump. But first, before we do that, let's talk about this summit. Well, that's part of the good, the bad, and the ugly here. Do you think that this summit with Putin in Alaska, I think it's going to get ugly because Putin's not going to be willing. And here's the thing I have with President Trump. He lied. He said, "Oh, 24 hours. As soon as I get sworn in, I'm going to have this war will be over." Okay. Well, in case you're not aware, yeah, I have the red Solo Cup. Yeah, the late Toby Keith, man, may you rest in peace, buddy. Played that song quite a lot in my DJing time. Okay. So, all right. Do you think he can talk to Putin about ending this war in Ukraine? Because no, Putin wants it all. He wants Ukraine. He wants the whole thing. Vladimir Zelensky's going to sit there and keep trying to put his hand out. And the only reason right now that he's getting any military equipment is because of Uncle Joe, former President Uncle Joe Biden. Okay. President Trump's trying to work on that other mess in Afghanistan, trying to get our weapons back that they left behind for the Taliban to take. All right. Because he was in too much of a hurry to get out of Afghanistan. Didn't have an evacuation plan. Let the Taliban take it over. Who does that? He blamed Trump for that. Oh, Trump made it. No, Trump would never make an arrangement for the Taliban to take over a country like that. Come on. Okay. All right. So now we're President Trump, and he'll probably become a hero out of this. And that is, he's going to try to end this war. But he disincluded Zelensky, and that's because of that White House thing, which I applaud. And I applaud. Okay? I applaud J.D. Vance for that. All right? And there's a reason I applaud J.D. Vance for that. Because it had to be said to Zelensky. It had to be said. It really did. Okay? It really had to be said. All right? That's right. That's exactly right. Okay? Bensman's got a point there. Absolutely. All right? Once again, you see me moving around. My back is all knotted up here real bad. I'm trying to work here with this. All right? I love being on the microphone talking to you folks so much that I decided that my back's knotted up and I decided to come in here and do this tonight. So please don't say every time I wimp out because I'm sick or whatever. All right? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. The good, the bad, the ugly of Trump. That could be ugly. It could be bad, but it could be good. It all depends on how this meeting goes in Alaska. All right. If a moose don't run through the house or something or wherever they're going to meet, nobody even knows where they're going to meet in Alaska. Okay. All right. The Epstein files, again, as I said earlier, keep coming up and coming up and coming up. Leave it go. You're not going to get this man. Leave President Trump alone. You're not going to get him. You keep on trying to prosecute him for every little stupid thing. And the good thing that I think is good is him calling the National Guard in on Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles, because it needs to happen. We have too many progressive mayors in these towns all across the country that don't care about public safety. Okay? This is the nation's capital. This is where our capital is. This is where our politicians walk around, and the city government there has no clue what they're doing in Washington, D.C. All right? So here we are. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly of Trump today. If there's anything you think I forgot this week, let me know. The tariffs, I know that, but we still haven't diagnosed the tariffs as to whether or not it's going to go good or bad. It just started. But the bad thing here is he keeps giving China 90 days more, 30 days more, 45 days more. We'll sit and negotiate with China. Screw China. China screwed us over so many times, it's pathetic. Okay? I say stick it to China as much as possible. They've stuck it to us so many times. Okay? But I know oh, so and so's not going to be able to open up their store or buy anything because we bought so much in China, because we priced ourselves out of business in this country. We have not only done that, we've made employers overpay us, and all this other stuff. Okay. Nobody cares about the American worker. Nobody cares. Politicians don't care. You don't care. There's people out there that don't care about the American worker. If you did, you wouldn't buy Chinese stuff. But it's hard because it's stuff that's inexpensive. All right. Made in China. Back when I was growing up, it was made in Taiwan. And then to this day, I still can't figure out why we do any kind of business with Vietnam after what they pulled or what their nonsense was with that war. Okay? Don't forget, it's still the longest war in our nation's history. And it's also the war where we lost the most men. 58,000 Americans died in that war. 58,000 were missing in action as well. Okay? All right. All right. Don't forget this Saturday, the triple header, Ralph Williams Saturday. It starts Saturday morning at 8 a.m., 12:50 a.m., 92.5 The Answer, the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno Show, or you can go to 1250 The Answer, pgh.com. And I just renewed my contract with 1250 The Answer. This show and the Sports Corner radio show at 2 o'clock p.m., also on The Answer, with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. We will be on until March of 2026. All right. At 2 o'clock Saturday, myself, Smoking Jim, Claudio, and Luther, we're going to break down the Cam Hayward, Chris Boswell holdouts. We're also going to break down the Jacksonville game, and we're also going to break down the upcoming game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, and also at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning on the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno Show, as you heard earlier on the show, I will have Clareton Mayor Richard Latanzi on to talk about the explosion at the Coke Works of U.S. Steel in Clareton, and also about the U.S. Steel Nippon Steel deal as well. All right. All right. And also, we're not done here yet. The second show of the triple header of Ralph is on at 10 a.m. And it is the Saturday Sports Show with me, Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, and guests of our choosing. We have Pensman Sports, and Brian Pettit will be joining us. All right. Pensman Sports and Brian Pettit from the Tiger Stripes Network. Okay. That's all Saturday. The triple header, Ralph Williams. Don't forget to tune into that as well. All right. All right. Closing thoughts tonight here on Ralph's Opinion, and we'll get into the way I see it coming up shortly. All right. President Trump has only been in his job 8 months. Let's see what happens with these tariffs and stop complaining. Let's see what happens with this, with the National Guard. And maybe you'll send a message to these progressives that we're not going to play around anymore in these towns. Okay? If you can't do public safety, I'm sending the National Guard, and good for him. Let's see what happens with this. We have next week to find out what happens. And I will join you next week for Ralph's Opinion every single Wednesday night at 7:30. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platform. Until next week, have yourself a great one. Thank you. And we'll be back shortly with The Way I See It.
Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
All right, welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with me, Ralph Williams. I had some music that I had drawn up here, but apparently, once again, we're having some issues here with something here, so that didn't happen. So I had to go into my alternative music there, which you just heard, and you can hear it again. So, in case you didn't hear it, there it goes. All right, there we are. Okay. Welcome back to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams, the second part of the 1 hour shows every Wednesday, 2 shows, 1 hour, 7:30. We just got done with Ralph's opinion, and now we get into The Way I See It with me, Ralph Williams. Lots to talk about today. Bad, brutal explosion and some, catastrophe at the Coke Works in Clairton, Pennsylvania of U.S. Steel, Nippon Steel. All right. We're going to talk about that coming up. Also, Ocean City's White Marlin Classic. We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll also talk about public transit in Pennsylvania. And the reason I want to talk about that is because it involves Pittsburgh, the city that I'm formerly from. Okay. But it's making a national perspective because Governor Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, is looking like an ass because he can't get this budget passed. And it's going to affect his career of possibly becoming president of the United States in 2028. Okay. All right. I was on 2 shows tonight on a station in Pittsburgh that I am not going to talk about because they don't talk about me. They do let me come on the shows to talk about things that they know that I'm knowledgeable of. But we'll talk about that as we go. All right. But first, we got to get into our sponsors here. And first, that's our studio sponsor, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today for all your air conditioning needs. And I know summer's winding down and you're going to need to get your furnace looked at. UV lighting, snow melt, winter's coming. So is the fall. So get that all done. Call Mata today, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. Also, we are sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty, Ocean City, Maryland, 410-596-1681. It's area code 410-596-1681. 20 years in the real estate business. Mike can set you up with a short-term rental. If you're interested in buying rental property, buying it, renting it out, or a summer home, or a permanent stay like me, give Mike a call. Area code 410-596-1681, Mike Dotson Realty. All right. All right, let's get started here. First, we're going to talk about this U.S. Steel catastrophe at the Clairton Works in Clairton, Pennsylvania. All right. Now, first, I want to say, coming up Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 12:50 a.m., The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno Show, or 12:50 The Answer, pgh.com. You can tune in. My guest will be Clairton Mayor Richard Lattanzi. He will join me or join us to talk about the U.S. Steel explosion, the Nippon Steel deal, and everything else. All right. And about his town, about what this does for him in his town, the U.S. Steel Nippon Steel deal. Also, the what's going on right now with the U.S. Steel plant. One thing I will tell you right now, and I'm going to say this again, I'm not real happy with U.S. Steel right now. And I'm not happy at all because, They reopened the plant the next day. And I get you have to fill orders. I get that. I get there are people out there that need jobs. I get that. But U.S. Steel took the high road here and decided to open the mill up the next day. Okay. All right. Pensman's back. Thank you, Pensman. Okay. All right. All right. But like I said, okay, why did you open the plant the next day? Because you didn't want to pay these workers to take a day off or a week off or 2 days off without pay. You didn't want to pay them, U.S. Steel. And you know what? If I'm Nippon Steel, I'm pissed about this because I don't think Nippon Steel would stoop that low to reopen the plant the next day after a catastrophe like that. This plant has been through so many problems that it's unreal. They've had issues with furnaces catching on fire. They've had issues with accidents happen there. The Allegheny County Health Department's been all over them about smell. The millions and millions of dollars that they've spent in fines to Allegheny County, okay, is astronomical, okay? All right? So here we are. U.S. Steel plant, the Coke Works. No, it's not the white stuff. Coke is a coal that's grinded down into dust that they use in steel plants to make steel with. They have customers, their own mills, plus they have some other customers, some other mills that use the U.S. Steel Coke Works to get their coke to fire up their ovens so that they can do the steel work. Okay? That is what they do there. I feel bad for the people in the community because the Mon Valley has suffered for the last 50 years because of the fall of the steel industry. The pollution, the clean air people, I fought with them back in Pittsburgh, and they have egg on their face now because they didn't support the Nippon Steel deal, and they came out and even said it. I was right. They should have supported that deal. Instead, they kept on, oh, go find U.S. Steel. They're going to have the county council. Let's go find U.S. Steel. Let's find U.S. Steel. Let's find U.S. Steel. Let's find U.S. Steel. Go ahead. Put U.S. Steel out of business. Put 3,000, 4,000 jobs or more out of business. Go ahead. Clean air. But no, you didn't want to get behind the Nippon Steel deal. All right. If I'm Nippon Steel right now, I'm looking at this like, wait a minute. Why did you open the plant back up the next day when they're still in the middle of an investigation involving this situation? Okay? That's the problem I have with this. All right? That's the way I see it tonight. Next. Speaking of the steel workers and the Clairton plant, there's a GoFundMe page out there. They've raised $17,000. I think it's up to about 27 or more now. But here's the problem I have with this. In two restaurants in the North Hills area of the city of Pittsburgh, out north there, two Mexican restaurants, one on McKnight Road, same name, one in Allison Park out on Route 8. Both got raided by ICE a few weeks back. Do you know, and this is the wisdom of the people in this country, in the area, and the progressives and all this other crap that I've talked about for so long. Okay? Do you know that there's more money raised on a GoFundMe page to fund that restaurant and to give money to those people than there is for the steelworkers? Okay? Tell me I'm not wrong on this. Please tell me I'm not wrong. And if you're going to sit there and say I'm wrong on this, you're wrong. Why are we not supporting our steelworkers? Our own people. Why are we supporting somebody who broke the law? Who had illegal immigrants working at their restaurant, and we're giving them $100 and some thousand on a GoFundMe page. Where's all the people with the money at around here giving to the steelworkers? Let's go. Okay? No, we're giving to the restaurant and to the illegal immigrants who broke the law in this country. This is where we are, folks. This is where we are. And that's really sad. And again, I got nothing against the restaurant owner. Okay? And then get this now. Not one penny of that money, of that so far, has gone for any legal defenses for these immigrants that said in that GoFundMe page. So somebody's stealing. So you think about that next time. You decide, you pick a side. Make sure you pick the right side. And that's the steelworkers and their families, the city of Clareton. Okay? You pick them before you pick this restaurant who was breaking the law. When you have other restaurants who don't violate the law. And again, it's going to boil down to what I've said for many years. It's about laziness. Nobody wants to work. So guess what? We have to hire immigrants because nobody wants to work. But it's the employer's fault too because they don't want to pay. Okay? They don't want to pay. It's that simple. Brian Gladish hung on with us for the second show. Thank you, Brian, on Facebook. All right. Please don't sit there and tell me I'm wrong. Please don't, because you know I'm right. Next. That's the way I see it tonight about this. Next. Let's get into Ocean City, Maryland down here for 1 second, because this is the only thing I really have to talk about. The White Marlin Open. Michael Jordan was here. His boat was here. His fishermen caught a 71-pound white marlin. The highest to qualify was 73. So he came in second place in the entire thing. Okay. There were some dolphins caught in the preliminaries. Some fish were disqualified because of that. But the reason I'm bringing this up tonight is because I don't want to hear any more crying coming from the business owners on the boardwalk. They didn't make any money. In fact, for the first time since I've been down here, they actually came on the air and said they made money. Oh, they made money. Whoa. I saw the guy that owns the surf shop on the boardwalk crying the blues. Oh, I need 4th of July weekend to make money. Get out of here. And you got more opportunities to make money before you close up shop. You got the Jeep race coming up, which I might go to, although I'm not much for crowds around down at the boardwalk like that. But that's interesting because I used to own a Jeep. And I wouldn't mind going to see a Jeep race on the beach. That would be fun. Okay. You have that September music festival coming up. That's going to draw 500,000 people like the one back in May drew. All right. Then in October, you got the country event festival. Okay. I don't want to hear any more crying from any of these hotels or anything after the mayor of Ocean City wants to gouge everybody. And you know, I've said it here many times. Go back to my archive shows about what's going on down here with this gouging the public. Charging double for food and beers and stuff during the rock show in May. Shame on you. 4th of July weekend, charging $1,800 a night for a room at the Cambria. Are you nuts? But see, attendance on the boardwalk this year and attendance here in Ocean City, traveling here, is down again for a second year in a row. So you would think that Mayor Rick Meehan would think for a minute and go, oh, wait a minute here. We're down. Why? Because we're trying to get rid of short-term rentals so the hotels can gouge people. Why? Because we're greedy. Why? Because I don't want meatheads running all over the place, so we're going to jack the prices up. But if those meatheads spend, you want them here? It might cause problems, but they spend. Anybody else wouldn't care if the meatheads show up here. Okay? You catch my point, Rick? All right. And now you want to punish short-term rentals because you think that that's causing problems because of a couple whiny little people that live in some of these communities. They're partying all night long. They keep us up all night. I can't enjoy my summer. I get it. Call the police. Have them arrested. Okay? Unlike Pittsburgh, the police respond down here. I had something that I called for a report, and I had 3 sheriff's cars here just to file a police report on harassment. 3 police cars. That goes to show you the difference between here and Pittsburgh, here in Washington, D.C., here in Baltimore, here and other places. Okay? All right? That's the difference. So I don't want to hear Ocean City Boardwalk businesses about how you didn't make any money. You made money with this White Marlin Open, and you had 2 extra days to make money too. Plus, you had your weekend crowd that showed up. Plus, it was expanded 2 extra days because of the tides on the ocean and overbooking. You didn't have enough spots for everybody, so you had to expand it 2 days to satisfy everybody. So please, Ocean City businesses, Ocean City Boardwalk people, do not, and I repeat, do not complain. I don't want to hear it. I hear it again, you're going to get blasted on this program. I don't want to hear it. I just don't. Okay? I just don't. Don't want to hear it. And, some of you made jokes, made comments about how I complain about the food cost on here. Well, I got something good for you. I went to the store yesterday. And I noticed going into the freezer section that all the frozen pizzas were gone. There was hardly any of them there. In fact, nothing, almost nothing for every brand. And I'm at the deli picking up something. And this guy was standing there and I was talking about it to somebody else. And he goes, well, do you blame us? The way the cost of food is down here at these pizza shops, the way they gouge us. I thought I was the only one complaining down here about this. Look at this. I actually got somebody that agrees with me. Okay? Yeah. Every time I order out food, it's over $100, at least for the 3 of us, maybe more. It's not under 100. It's only been under 100 once. And that was last Saturday, not this past Saturday, 2 weeks ago. We ordered from Domino's and I got that $9.99 deal. It was under $100 or under $50 actually. It was only 40 total. Because my mom can't eat certain things on a pizza, and it was only $9.99 a pizza. So I ordered a bunch of toppings. My wife got one with a bunch of toppings. We got the stuffed crust. I paid a couple extra bucks even after that. It was still no more than $44. That's the cheapest I've paid for pizza. But we did that because it was the last day of that deal. And I don't eat Domino's pizza very often. Hardly at all, actually. It's been since 2018 that I've eaten Domino's pizza. That's how long it's been. Okay. About 66 was over $100. Yeah, absolutely. Tonight I made my own pizza. I got one of those pizza making machines. I make my own pizza now. We don't eat out that much, and we don't order out that much because you can't afford to. You'll be in a poorhouse. That's why I tell people when they come down here, take out a loan because you're going to need it. I get it. Oh, it's a travel place. It's the Paradise Beach. It's this, it's that. I get that. Okay, I get that. But what bothers me the most, okay, is the fact that you complain that tourism is down and you're losing to Myrtle Beach, you're losing to Florida, you're losing to the cruises. I've pinpointed on this program about that. And I wanted to say I'm sorry about Ralph's opinion tonight because I had other things to talk about. We didn't get into our series about Atlantic City. Last week I spoke about Vegas. Next week we will do that. All right. Get into about Atlantic City. Okay. The rise and fall of Atlantic City. Just like Vegas, they're not making any money. Delaware now has casinos with table games. They now have a casino with table games at their racetracks. And they were the last hurrah for Atlantic City because people from New Jersey can go to New York. They can go to not only New York, all right, but also Pennsylvania has casinos. Maryland has casinos. West Virginia has casinos. Ohio even started having slot machines. I think they might have casinos. I'm not positive. Okay. Connecticut has casinos. Mississippi has casinos. Indiana has a casino. The state of Indiana, Argosy has a casino, a floating casino. No, who needs to go to Vegas now? And now it's so expensive. Like I said last week, nobody's going. And that's too bad. So sad. Okay. I don't need to go to Vegas. What do I need to go there for? Okay. I got it here. Ocean Downs and casino. I don't need to go there. People in Pittsburgh and Erie and all that, they got casinos there. West Virginia has casinos. Who needs to go to who needs to go to Atlantic City? I got a boardwalk here. I got a casino here. I don't need to go to Atlantic City. What, so I can get mugged out on the boardwalk? Because I hear it's really bad there. And I've saw some videos. I know some people. I've talked to some people, and they've told me that it's bad. It's worse now than it's ever been. And again, have to go into another renaissance and try to bring it back. I don't think that can happen right now. Atlantic City at one time was once the mega for gambling on the East Coast. And now everybody has casinos now. So forget it. They lost a lot of money over the years. When West Virginia got them, they lost the Pennsylvania crowd. They were down $50 million. I can just imagine what they're down now, since everybody around them has casinos. Unless you want to look at something different, which is very much different to look at. The indoor mall that they have that floats out onto the ocean, that's closed. I heard that's just like every other indoor mall, it's closed up. Okay. So, because they put Outlet Mall right on the boardwalk. Makes sense. Kind of. All right. Brandon Keeler's watching. Thank you, Brandon, for watching on Facebook. Much appreciated tonight. I appreciate everyone that's watching tonight, for the way I see it. We spoke earlier about the U.S. Steel situation in Clairton. I just got done talking about, I've just finished up talking about Ocean City, Maryland. Now I want to get into the state budget. Streets are rundown, says Pensman. I haven't been there for a while, Pensman, but thank you. Next week on Ralph's Opinion, we will talk about Atlantic City, the rise and the fall. Now, the week after that, we'll talk about Wheeling, West Virginia, Chester, West Virginia, the rise and the fall of those towns now that they're not making any money with casinos because Pennsylvania and Ohio all have casinos now. Okay? All right? It's a ripple down effect. Okay? Just like everything else in life. All right, let's talk about bus transportation. The state of Pennsylvania hasn't passed their budget yet. Governor Josh Shapiro wants to run for president in 2028, or I'm hearing that the Democratic Party wants to put him up for president. Josh, Governor Shapiro, this looks bad. SEPTA, effective midnight tonight in Philadelphia, is making drastic cuts to where neighborhoods will not have bus service. They're talking about shutting their subway train down at 10 o'clock. Okay. And I get it. Oh, we don't use mass transit. This isn't me paying for it. But what about your fellow man? Somebody got to get to work that don't have transportation, don't know how to drive, has no other means other than to take a bus. You're handicapped like I am. You're in a wheelchair. I've reached out to my fellow handicapped brethren up in Pittsburgh and disabilities people. They're worried about being left out in the cold because access is getting cut. But see, the difference between SEPTA and PRT, Pittsburgh Regional Transit, is that Pittsburgh Regional Transit is just now digging into the piggy bank. SEPTA ate up all their money. See, when transit agencies by President Biden were given funds to cover mass transit due to COVID. Okay? All right? What had happened was he gave mass transit agencies COVID money just like he gave cities and states and all that other stuff. The difference is PRT was thrifty with their money. They watched what they were doing. They spent conservatively. I know. I'm the ex-president of the Allegheny County Transit Council. I still work with them up there. I'm just a backdoor consultant. They call me. What do you think of this? Do you think we should, yeah, okay. I still work with them. I still talk to them. Just because I moved here to Ocean City, Maryland, that doesn't necessarily mean I still don't have friends up in Pittsburgh. I have friends, media friends. All right. And this catastrophe here that SEPTA's going through at midnight tonight will not happen with PRT until February of 2026, because now Pittsburgh Regional Transit has to dig into the piggy bank. As an operator, a bus operator, I will tell you this. If you're new, my suggestion to you is to start banking your money and putting it away like a squirrel puts nuts away, because you could get laid off next year. I was laid off twice because I didn't have enough seniority, and they made cuts in service and bus routes and everything else. Back when Act 89 was made, they had a temporary patchwork funding solution, but it was only for 10 years. You need to get a permanent funding system. Go to the casinos. They make $800 million a quarter. Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh makes. Okay? The liquor stores. Pennsylvania has the highest amount of alcoholics in the United States. They have the most drunk driving in the United States. So people drink in Pennsylvania. Liquor stores make millions, trillions, billions of dollars. Why can't you tax the liquor stores a little more? And yeah. How about the gas drilling for Marcellus Shale? How about putting a tax on them to help roads and mass transit? Okay. I heard from a politician tonight on the radio before I got on the air here that Governor Shapiro screwed the Republicans real bad from the last budget. So now the Republicans are sticking back. Thanks, Governor Shapiro. And you want to be president in 2028? You want to run on the Democratic side? Come on. I'm going to eat you and Austin Davis alive until you guys do something. Austin Davis, our lieutenant governor, in case you don't know, state of Pennsylvania. I'm going to eat you two alive until I find out, until this is done. All right? He wants to put $600 million toward transit. But now he couldn't give PRT what they need to survive, which is $100 million. He only can give them $40 million as a stopgap because they can't get this budget done. So he can get the $600 million and give $300 to PRT and give $300 million to SEPTA so that both can survive. All right. Oh, I know what you're saying. And maybe the executive needs to take a pay cut. Maybe somebody needs to quit landing. And I will not disagree. Pittsburgh Regional Transit should never spend all that millions of dollars changing the name. And they've made a lot of mistakes too over the years too. The current administration there, I thought, had a little bit of common sense, but some people have retired there that were issuing the common sense. And now, here we are again fighting about transit in the state budget. You want to be a hero, Josh Shapiro? That rhymes. You want to be a hero, Josh Shapiro? I'll tell you what, get this budget done, get the permanent transit funding, get it done forever, and you will be the president of the United States. I'm going to say, like George Zimmer of the Men's Warehouse, I guarantee it. Okay? All right? And also Pittsburgh. I said this earlier on Ralph's Opinion. I think that President Trump should send a National Guard into Pittsburgh and clean up the city. They've lost police. The public safety system stinks. The city parks or the city services suck. They can't pick up garbage. It's disgusting. That's one of the reasons I left. I have other reasons, but that's one of them. Okay? Nobody does anything about anything. They need the National Guard up there in Pittsburgh. So, President Trump, please, I urge you, I've reached out to you already privately. Please send the National Guard up there like you did in Washington, D.C. and L.A. and clean it up. Because the NFL draft's coming next year, and I don't see how Pittsburgh's going to survive with it. I don't. It's going to be a mess if they don't clean it up soon. Okay? Homelessness problem, all kinds of problems. Clean it up. Okay? That's my final thoughts for tonight. That tonight is the way I see it about everything I've talked about tonight. And I'll see you next Wednesday right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, and the Kick Network. Don't forget this coming up Saturday, the triple header of Ralph Williams Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno Show. Our guest will be Richard Latanzi, the mayor of Clairton, Pennsylvania. He will join us to talk about the explosion at the mill there of U.S. Steel's coke plant, and also to talk about Nippon Steel, U.S. Steel deal. All right, 12:50 a.m., 92.5 FM, The Answer, and 12:50 The Answer, PGH.com. All right. And then at 10 a.m., as part of the triple header of Ralph Williams Saturday, okay. All right. Let's see where we are here. I can find it. There we are. The Saturday Sports Show with me, Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, and featuring special guests. All right. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X, Kick Network, and also on the Huddle Sports Network for this program. All right. So don't forget to join us there. That's my middle show of the triple header of Ralph Williams Saturday. And then finally, the last show of the triple header, 2 to 3 p.m., the Sports Corner Radio Show on AM 1250, The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, and on 1250 The Answer, PGH.com. The Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree. We'll break down the Steelers-Jacksonville game, talk about the upcoming Steelers-Buccaneers game, and Cam Hayward and Chris Boswell. Holdout. We'll talk about that as well. You don't want to know what I have to say. You'll find out Saturday. All right, so tune in. Okay? All right. I'm Ralph Williams. It's been a pleasure being with you here tonight. Until next Wednesday, have yourself a great night, and don't forget to tune in to the Ralph Williams triple header on Saturday. And please don't forget to like and follow. Also, follow me on Twitter X and also Facebook and also on YouTube. And please don't forget to follow my colleagues, Pensman Sports, and also the Tiger Stripes network as well. Brian Pettit. Follow those guys as well. Subscribe to their YouTube channels. Help Pensman get to 1,000. Help him also on his Twitter page to get some followers, and also likewise with Brian Pettit as well. Until next week, have yourself a great night. Thank you. And don't forget, 9:00 p.m., YouTube, Facebook, the Steel City Sports World Show. I'll be on there with Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano, and Smoking Jim Frazier, and Fillmore, myself, and a whole lot more. They also take your calls as well. So talk to you soon. Have a great one.